And Lindsay with the roll call.
Taylor,
Yes.
Witten,
Yes.
Adams,
Yes.
Koblenz,
Yes.
Dawson,
Yes, ma'am.
Griswold,
Yes, ma'am.
Mormon,
Yes, ma'am.
Parsons,
Yes.
Anders.
Yes.
Right, the motion carries.
It has been a beautiful day, and now it's the early evening of Wednesday morning on the plains of Auburn. My name is Robert Wilkins. This is our 10th Be Informed special edition concerning Auburn Waste Management Enterprise Fund. What is a enterprise fund? Funds that are set up to be self-sustaining government entities such as the Waste Management, the Sewer Board, and the Water Board. What is a work session? It is where a city council works on an issue concerning the city while being open to the public. But there's no opportunity for public to give input during the meeting. Maybe we should have citizens work sessions and let our council members and our top city government officials be there and not say anything. I attended one of these work sessions this past April the 30th. Unfortunately, I was the only citizen that attended. Please, citizens, attend the inner workings of our city government. It's the only way to know what's happening, and we need your input. The council could not even decide in this meeting how much raise they wanted or should receive. They even asked our city manager how much their raises should be. Of course, it would not be appropriate for her to do so. So sad to see our governing body with such lack of confidence. Auburn council members are the lowest paid council of any top 10 Alabama city, while we have the highest top 3 paid city employees of any other city in Alabama. Auburn also has the highest average salary by a wide margin of any top 10 cities. We need an informed city council to speak for us. Only full-time, well-paid members can accomplish that. As Councilman Griswold stated, every dollar we transfer from the general fund into the solid waste management fund is a dollar we lose from other things. But more importantly, I say every dollar we spend excessively on wages, salaries, and benefits is a dollar we lose from other things. I've gathered the information from 2009 to 2024. It's concerning the solid waste management enterprise fund, which I think is great to have enterprise fund for that, and the sewer. I think it's wonderful because it's treated separately. You kind of know what's going on.
Before I say that about the enterprise fund, I do want to remind everyone and put a little bit of context around the various types of services we provide. Solid waste is one of 3 utilities that we provide. Most municipalities provide a utility. And so utilities being sewer and solid waste for the city itself. And then we also have water on the water board side, which, while not directly the city, still a component unit of the city and something that we still manage. And so when you think about those types of services, the critical nature of those services, providing those, they're essential, they are very critical. It's very important that we treat them differently. We are selling a good and we are selling a service. So generally they function like a private business does. And you want to have the users of those services fully fund the service. And if you think about funding solid waste with general revenue like sales tax, you have all kinds of individuals that are funding a service that they don't use. And so that's the idea. And where we get to an enterprise fund is that the enterprise funds are set up and made so that we can track this just like a business. And it operates that way. While we are not in it to make a profit, we are in it to fully cover, and we intend to fully cover the cost of providing that service. Everything. Every expense, every capital purchase, everything that goes into that. And so we use those enterprise funds. We track revenue and expenses in those funds, keep everything together. And then when we get ready to decide what that user rate is, we're going to use a consultant who specializes in that field. And ideally, we would do that every 4 years. Enterprise fund is completely separate from the general fund, and there's a good reason for that. We want to make these things operate like a business. We want them to fund themselves, and if we mix it all together, then you kind of take away from the purpose that we have there.
The city and the city council and city managers participated, I believe, in 3 work sessions.
3 work sessions that were available to the public. I think we brought it up last 2 weeks ago, or not 2 weeks ago. We brought up the 1st of May. We've put an abundance of information out online, and there's been plenty of opportunities for anyone to reach out to any of the council members with questions, and we'd be more than willing to get an answer for you. You can also do that after the fact as well.
If it's all right, thank you. We had a lot of meetings on this, and there were a lot of questions asked.
And I hope, I assume y'all know a lot more than I do. All I know is some numbers that I looked at, and I've just had some concerns in general. Notice we also hired a consulting firm in 2023 on this subject, and it's something that we seem to always hire consulting firms if you're in the bureaucratic world. I'm glad that the city set up this fund, but here's a rundown on the solid waste. 2009 to 2013, we lost about $1.1 million. 2014 to 2017 was a positive income of $942,000. In 2018 to 2021 seemed to be kind of about a $4,500 a year thing, but it was a positive $176,000. Then we lost $94,000 in 2022. But what really strange to me is we lost in 2023 and 24, we lost $1.4 million on this fund. And the strange thing about it is during that period of time, those 2 years, the salary, wages, and benefits increased by $1 million. So there was a loss of $1.4 million, and $1 million of that was the increase. And that had not happened before where there was much of an increase. I have no idea why y'all had such an increase. It took 13 years, 2009 to 22, to increase the yearly salary and wages from 1.5 million to 2 million. It took 1 year in 23, 2 million to 2.5 million. So there was a $500,000 increase basically in 13 years, and a $500,000 increase in 1 year.
We have the shortfall, and every dollar that we transfer from the general fund into the solid waste fund is a dollar we lose for other things that the citizens of Auburn expect and deserve, whether it be parks and recreation or resurfacing or police and fire, whatever. Every dollar we transfer into this fund, which is supposed to be self-sustaining, is a dollar that the rest of us lose. So this is a pay while you go, pay your way as you go type of fund. It's supposed to pay for itself. So it's just not fair to the citizens of Auburn to lose your general fund assets to augment a fund that's supposed to be self-sustaining.
That total of funds, we've spent 3.1, and then over the next 3 or 4 years, be another 5.5 or so. So we're talking, if I remember, it's like $8 to $9 million that would have to supplement if we left things
A little over $5 million in the next budgeting period. So for 26, 27, that's what we would ask for from the general fund. It'll be nearly $9 million for the 4-year time period.
total. Okay.
Yeah.
We can give you, $1 million will fund 13 million in debt issued for projects. That's a fire truck, 23 police cars, you name it. $1 million is a lot in the general fund, to Councilman Griswold's point, for what you may need to be funding from a city service standpoint.
That projected shortfall was calculated based off of increased service cost and having to update equipment or
Capital equipment's a big part
bring
of
on
that.
additional capital
but
equipment.
increased cost, right?
As our current equipment ages out and as we
Right.
bring on new customers and have to add additional equipment.
That's correct. And we went many years, Katrina will know off the top of her head, and Al Davis actually led that department at a point in his career. We went many years without adding any personnel to your department, Katrina. 22 years because we gained efficiency in equipment. And so the only time we add personnel is when we need to add equipment.
Employee benefits and the employee salaries and wages went astronomically up. What happened? She hasn't said a word. None of you even responded. I don't even understand. You can just allow $1 million just to disappear? Because it was $1 million increase from 22 to now and 24, not 25, because I don't know how much that'll be. We're gifted with lots of money. We have great revenue. And I'm concerned that we spend too much of it doing just here and there instead of helping people. We have a lot of money we could keep in house, just like I mentioned you again, Griswold, Councilman Griswold, excuse me, is that you talk about the vehicles and so forth. If you would gather enough information and do your due diligence, you could convince this whole group to quit purchasing so many things. Because 870 plus units is way too many for this. I know some of them are front-end loaders, some of them are, the Bobcat that you bought and all the different things. But I believe that money is just, it's no problem,
To the comments that were made that we have not addressed certain things, it's very difficult when a citizen comes up and rattles numbers and locations, and for us to respond without having done our own due diligence and our own homework of what those numbers and opposed facts may be. It would be irresponsible of us to speak to those things as a reaction to a question. So I have made comments in my notebook and jotted down the things that were stated. So it is my intent to go back and look at what those comments were and the actuality and facts behind those, and if it paints the picture that was stated or not. And I will gladly reach out to that constituent and have a follow-up conversation. But that is not something that we can responsibly do from this dais when we're faced with a bunch of information in a very short period of time.
I think Ms. Whitten is exactly right. It's too impossible to respond now, but I appreciate her willing to do the work, but it doesn't matter what you find, he's not going to believe.
In there. So we run very lean, and my staff can tell you it's not easy to get positions past me. For the council members, if you want responses to the questions, staff is also unaware of the questions received tonight. Those have been fully audited financials, things that we were comfortable with, budgets that were passed. The staff can respond to those questions to the council members at a given time when we've also had.
The reality is governmental accounting and governmental budgets look different than small business accounting and small business budgets. And it takes time to really sit down and understand and study the decisions that are made and how they're put together.
George Washington was quoted, "If the freedom of speech is taken away, then dumb in silence we may be led like sheep to the slaughter." Be informed by joining Auburn's Voice on YouTube.com. You can make a difference. Good evening.
Of our Be Informed campaign. And be informed.